Hi everybody, today we're talking about style for self-love, and my goal with this stream is to demystify the idea and just to give you some super practical, really concrete tips for how you can actually use style for self-love and not just have it be this fluffy idea that like clothes are gonna make you love yourself, which isn't necessarily always true. So I'm gonna give you lots of really practical advice, and I'm also just gonna talk about self-love in general and why it matters so much. It's probably one of the topics I feel most passionate about, and it's one of the reasons why I care about style so much and I care about working with people on their style, because I think that self-love has such a big relationship to style, and style has such an amazing ability to influence the way we love ourselves and how we treat ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And I also just, really believe the world would be a much better place if we had more of the self-love for everybody. So I have a plan. If you're watching the recording and you have the plan, you can skip anywhere you want. So first, I'm going to talk about self-love as a concept. I'm just going to give you my thoughts. Then we're going to do a little self-love exploration and relating it to style, so we can talk about how tangible it can be. And then I'm going to give, and I wrote helpful 1 and helpful 2, because first I have a really practical approach to what you can do to really be loving to yourself through style. And then I also wrote helpful 2 because I have another very useful perspective. And these are two things that are kind of different, but they're both really helpful and really concrete on the self-love tips. Because as I said, I feel like, we all kind of maybe get this idea that like, oh, we should love ourselves, but how to do it. So that's like the rough plan. And then of course, I'm super here just to answer all of your questions and thoughts. And hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thanks for saying hi. I really love it very, very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm just like really excited to hear from you today as we talk about the topic, because I think it's really, really, really important. So first of all, I just want to say that I think, the world we live in is just a very deeply, deeply tragic place. And yes, I feel that way, especially when we have a new war in the world, and thinking about the innocent people in the Gaza Strip and the innocent people in Israel and everybody just like suffering, that's like an extra layer of awfulness. But I feel like that's an extra layer of awfulness on already a very awful place. Like honestly, our world, it's just like terrible in a lot of big ways. So, and I'm saying that not to be depressing, but rather just to say, we all live in this world where there's so many problems all the time, both in the big world out there, but in the little world around us, people dealing with a lot of struggles with their health and with their mood and with their lives in general. And so it can feel like, oh, there's all of this suffering, all of these problems. What is the point of doing style things? Isn't that just kind of frivolous, and isn't that kind of shallow? And I don't know if you have thoughts like that. I hear about that a lot from people. Maybe you as the person individually don't really feel that way. And if so, that's really, really cool. But I think for a lot of people, the thought really appears like, why do we do this style stuff? Why do I need to put on this, sparkly pink jacket and my like adorable little heart earrings when, like serious things are happening in the world? And I think like the fact that serious and sad things happen in the world is exactly why I do the style work and why I'm so passionate with working with people to use style. Because for me, style isn't just about like the pretty thing and like it's pretty and you look skinny and good. It is really more about what style can do for us, and I feel like style gives us a lot. And if we can get those things from style, then we really build a better world together. I'm very, very convinced about that. So one thing I wrote is that like love is not a scarce resource we're competing for, right? I think this is a really big thing with self-love and love in general, is that your ability to be there for other people, your ability to care for other people, and your ability not just to care, but to motivate yourself into positive action that creates a more just, a happier, and just more functional world, is not a function of how little you love yourself. And I know you know that, but I'm just going to stress it, that obviously it's not about if you spend time getting dressed, that is something that's really going to like undermine how seriously you're taking your family, because like your kid isn't doing well, so you can't take these like 3 minutes to like put your hair in a pretty braid, which is a really like normal way of thinking that a lot of us fall into, right? And I just want to stress that loving yourself increases your capacity to love. Again, I think this is really basic, and it's also a really, really big lesson. I feel like for me, at least as a human being, 33 years on the planet, so much of the lesson has been about finding ways to increase my capacity to love, my capacity to love the people who are really close to me, and my capacity to love just the world in a big and more of an abstract sense, right? And yeah, loving ourselves is not the only way to love other people, but it definitely is a really big way that we are able to love others more, I think. And so that's why it's really, really important to recognize the intimacy we have with ourselves, and to celebrate the fact that we actually can build that ability to love ourselves. We can build the love we show ourselves, and we can build the love that we show to other people. And I mean, I think that's so beautiful. And I also wrote that there's no correct amount of self-love, because I think this is another thing people really struggle with, is this idea like, well, a lot of people don't really love themselves that much, and that's just how it is. That makes me very, very sad. But it just the reality, I think, for a lot of people, there's not really that much love there, or the love is not really able to have a lot of oxygen and nourishment and encouragement. And I think the problem is that if we're in a place where we're not really able to be that loving to ourselves, either because we never got in the groove, or just because the world, there was like a couple speed bumps and you just fell into this thing, where you're just like not vibing with yourself and not there for yourself. It can feel like, oh, but I'm never gonna get there. I can't be this person who really loves themselves. So, whatever. It can almost feel like there's just really no point and no purpose. And so that's why I want to write, there really is no correct amount though. And I think 5% more love is already so good. And I'm a quantitative social scientist, so I just love to put percentages on everything. That's me. I love percentages. But the point is just thinking about what more can we do for ourselves. That I am not here to tell you self-love needs to be a number one priority in life, and style is the number one pathway to that. And this is, the most important, most urgent thing. But I think we can all really agree that if just you and every single person in your life was 5% kinder, gentler, more loving, and more supportive of ourselves, the world would just be a much better place in every way. So because of that, I think it is really important for us, as we can, and obviously thinking about all of the other things we have going on, all the other stuff we want to do, I do think it is important for us to think okay, but what can I do? How can I practice this? And how can I give myself this self-love? So that's my speech on self-love in general, and why it is so important, and how I just think it is, a top priority. And of course, I, as a person, find that it is good, and effective to build self-love through style. And if you're watching the channel, then that's true for you too, right? For some other people who don't really care about aesthetics, or don't care about the creativity or the visuals, it's not a very efficient pathway. They maybe have other ways that they can cultivate self-love instead. But if you're watching this very niche style channel, then you're a person for whom style can be a really valid pathway. So what I want to do in the video is to just encourage you to take that seriously. That just because you know a lot of people for whom style doesn't do this or who wouldn't want to do this with style, it doesn't mean that for you, style isn't a good tool for self-love. And again, I think that's kind of obvious. And maybe when I say that, you're like, okay, Rita. But even if it feels obvious, I know that's not how we behave a lot of the time. If you have a partner who doesn't care that much about clothes and your two close friends or your colleagues really don't care about clothes, it can feel like, yeah, as I said in the beginning, that it's just all frivolous. And because other people are not connecting with the importance of style and the capacity of style as a tool for growth, self-love, all of these other things, it can just be easy to start kind of like discounting and undervaluing what style can do for you. And I think that's a really big mistake, honestly, because style is incredibly powerful. And for the people for whom it does matter, it matters so much. So it's really, really worth it. And I really want to encourage you to take it seriously and not kind of undervalue it just because maybe some other important people in your life don't value it as much. Okay, so that's Love Thoughts, Self-Love Thoughts by Rita. People are chatting. Can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, I saw a really cute post. I was like on Instagram or it was somewhere. I think it was like, it was about self-care though, but it was like, self-care helps you give the best of you instead of the rest of you. And I thought that was like really cute and really catchy also. It's like, yeah, it's the best instead of the rest. Yeah, I get that. But for sure, I mean, all of these things are tied together. Giving and taking needs to be in balance. For us as people, it's very hard to just give always. Marina says, yeah, people refuse to celebrate because of the war. You know, can I give like another side note before we get into our main topic? This is only vaguely related, but I like the stream format because anybody watching can always skip forward to where they want to go. When I was in my 20s and there was like, you know, the war in Syria, and there I read about this charity and it was like called like Clowns Without Borders, and I thought it was you know, I thought it was like a joke. I just thought it was like so silly that okay, there's these people and they maybe have been in drama school or they have been to that clown school and they're gonna go and they're like, it just seemed so weird to me. And then I thought about it more and I read about it and I felt like such a dummy for laughing at it. It was such a learning moment because it was like, oh, wait, no, these people, they go to a conflict zone where there has been like only spooky stuff going on and everybody is so serious, and they create this space and they create this permission for the children to have fun and just to laugh. And like, not only do they, you know, make them laugh and make it fun, but they, as I said, they're like, okay, this is the time, like we're just gonna have a good time, like this is, you're allowed to kind of have a good time. And yeah, when I realized that, I was like, oh wait, obviously that's like really, really nice. And then I felt like such a dummy for laughing about it. But that's like, you live and you learn, I guess. And that's, I think for me, I do think about that a lot when all the sad stuff is happening and I'm just like, what is my Clowns Without Borders? You know, when do I give myself the time to have fun and laugh and sparkle around? Because nobody, especially, you know, given that I don't personally live in like a conflict area, it's like literally nobody benefits from me just like being sad or like can't have fun, can't wear the pink sparkly jacket. It's like, I guess it would be, you know, from a philosophy kind of hypothetical case study example, I guess it could be something where if I had this value that all I was going to do was devote myself to some specific justice, and, you know, it's like an asceticism where you renounce everything else, so you're laser focused. But I'm not that person, so you're probably not either. And if you're not that, then good to have fun. Okay, and hi, thank you for finally catching the stream. I like it. I stream on Wednesdays and Sundays, although not always. And when I don't stream, then I try to put up a video instead because I just want to give you a lot of style thoughts. Okay, so that's the first part, just me talking about self-love and what it means to me. And then I was thinking, I called this moment for self-love through style awareness. And I thought that we could do some just really, really nice love and self-love reflections together, especially with, the people who are here on the stream, but obviously if you're also watching the recording. So I thought I could just connect a bit with what is self-love for us, how does it feel, and then we can try to see how we personally connect it to style. This is a little bit, unusual maybe for you to do thinking about what is self-love, how does it feel for you, but I'm a really big proponent of the somatic approach to emotions, basically, that it's really good to, if you're talking about something abstract like self-love or confidence or joy or whatever, to really take a moment and think about what does that really feel like for you, and try to kind of observe your own actual experience with it so you know what it feels like for you rather than it just being like a word on a page. Okay, get some hearts. So I'm just gonna say everybody's excited. Okay, so first thing I thought was we could just try to connect with what self-love feels to us. And I think that for most people, rather than trying to tune into the sensation of self-love, it just really helps to just think about something or somebody you love instead, who's outside of you. So I invite you here, or if you're watching, let's just I'm gonna close my eyes, do whatever you want with your eyes, but we can just think about something that we love. It could be a place that you really love, it could be a person you really love. If you're blessed with a pet, you could think about that. And let's just take a moment to think about this thing that whatever it is that we just really associate with love, and how that feels for us. So maybe again, as I maybe that's weird to you, but it's my favorite way to think about any emotion or sensation. And I definitely, when I think about this person I love very much, I can really feel that in my body. Maybe I feel I guess love can feel different in the body, but for me it definitely feels maybe a warmth in the chest and my stomach, and I also feel kind of coming out into my arms, and that's really nice, a glowy feeling in the arms. That's what I would say. And then if you have this feeling of love, maybe you could think about what it feels like when you apply that feeling to yourself, because I'm sure you have, some memory when maybe you were just, maybe you did something you were proud of, or you just had this random moment where you were hey, I'm doing great. Or it was just a day when for some reason you were just really being nice to yourself. So I just want to invite you to remember what it feels like to have that sensation of directing that love feeling, not towards this external place or person or thing or pet, but rather directing it in towards yourself. And I don't know, maybe then it feels a bit different for you. Maybe it feels the same. Maybe you're not even a person who likes to feel things, but if you don't like to feel it, you could just think about it, what it's like, or, maybe when did that happen for you? For me, it's just a very cozy feeling. That's the main thing I feel. I feel it's very cozy to think about the times when I'm able to really direct that sensation of love and care towards myself. That's really nice. Okay, and I hope you like that. And then thinking about this, and if you're not vibing with the feeling, etc., you can also just think about the memory, right? And then so if you can think about this memory of when did you love yourself, or you can feel what it's like when you've done that. I also just want to invite you to think about the things you have, and that could be a favorite outfit, but it could also just be a random thing. Maybe it's even a thing you don't even wear, or maybe it's something you wore just once that was your wedding dress, or a party outfit or something, just literally anything. I just want you to think about a physical, tangible style thing. Could be your favorite shampoo and it smells really good, could be yeah, your favorite face cream could be your winter jacket. I just want you to think about the thing that like comes to your mind as we are thinking and feeling and relating to that love feeling. And it's not deeper than that. We're not gonna try and analyze or understand anything. I just want you to practice kind of, yeah, either logically in your mind or, yeah, even better in a sensory way to try and really connect that sensation of love to others, self-love to yourself, and just like to something tangible. So it's really funny for me. I was like immediately thinking about I have this winter jacket and I wear it probably 50% of the time, just in the colder months. It's just my absolutely favorite jacket. It's kind of a cropped, like really oversized lavender teddy jacket. And I guess I was thinking about that because that is something that is really cozy to me because it's so fluffy and it's really oversized. So I feel very like nice in it. And then it's also this kind of light and bright color, which I find really refreshing during the winter when everybody is wearing black. And I definitely think for sure that for me, yeah, like wearing that jacket, it's very loving because I love the jacket and it just feels like I'm taking care of myself. It's not any deeper than that. I just really love it. Mysteria says, I was thinking about polka dots. I love that. Maybe it's because like they're round and like love is kind of round. I don't know. Is love round to you guys? I feel like love is kind of round. I mean, it's kind of circular. Yes, I was definitely thinking about my jacket. And then the other style thing I was thinking about as I was talking is I was also kind of thinking about this thing I did last weekend where I did my wardrobe audit. So if you don't know, I was in California last year, so I didn't have like a proper fall winter. So I've been, now that fall is really started here in Sweden, I've been feeling like my wardrobe is a bit in disarray. Like, what are you, like, what am I wearing? Yeah, so this weekend I really went and I took pictures of all of my outfits and tried to figure out everything that I can wear, like, and just how it all works. And that really felt definitely like love to me. And it, like, when it's just interesting because I don't know, like, that's not, you know, I didn't do it because I was like, this is love. But when I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like, wow, that was very loving to give myself so much time and so much space and to do that. And oh, I love that people are sharing. Marina says, I think of my long and frilly soft touch skirts. Oh, that's love. And Spacebar says, it radiates from my heart, feels round like gravity, but instead of pulling, it's expanding. Oh my God, that's poetry. And Eva says, I get this feeling from my me-made knits. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. When you wear something, oh my God, I'm gonna learn how to make a pair of pants. I joined the sewing class. We're gonna make a pair of pants. I don't really want to learn how to sew, but I just thought it would be like a fun way to, I don't know, meet fashion people and just like a fun little activity. And those could be my love pants when I wear them. Okay, so that's what we did. This was our moment for self-love through style awareness. And yeah, whether you want to do that or not, or you just want to watch me do it and talk about it, I really want to say that this is kind of the secret of it all. And I'm going to talk about too, like now I'm going to talk about like tangible, whole, practical tips on self-love. But to me, that's really the secret, is having that genuine internal awareness from the inside of you as a person that says like, oh, like I know what love and self-love feels like, and I can connect it to the style stuff. It's not just because Rita said style is self-love, but because to me, I can understand and I can feel how those things are connected, even if like it's just like a little spark of self-love and not this like raging fire, you know? That's like an internal quality to you. And you know, starting with that inner experience is always really helpful. Oh, and Camila says this is like an acting exercise. You focus on a memory and recall the feeling. Okay. Okay, good. I'm ready for Hollywood. This is what I would do if I was in a major Hollywood picture. And Sika says, skin moisturized. Yes, putting on thick face cream. That is love. And okay, I don't think my pants are gonna be that good, honestly. It's just we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so that was the moment for self-love through awareness. But just, you know, it's Rita, so we have to have practical, actionable tips, because if we don't have it, what's even the point? Okay, and I reveal to you, ta-da, tangible strategies, the love language approach. Okay, and before you come at me, I'm personally, I just want to say this, you can feel however you feel. I am not a huge advocate on this like idea of the love languages. It just doesn't strike me. You know, I'm obsessed with any model of things. So if there was like 5 ways to love people, I would be all over it. I'm not super sold on it. However, I do think actually it's nice. So, and the helpful thing is that instead of thinking about like how another person is going to love you or how you're going to love you, I think it's nice to think about how these are the different ways in which we can love ourselves, and not just loving ourselves, but also like how we can channel our self-love through style. So I'm going to give you some like really practical, really specific ideas for what you can do with style that can help you be loving towards yourself using this love language approach as a framework, okay? And we all agree that is not my Rita unlimited endorsement of the framework. I don't know, I have to say it as if I'm like so worried somebody's gonna assume I'm like a love language spokesman. It's just like academia. This is what it does to your brain. It's like you can never, never just make unqualified statements. Jesus. All right. All right, guys, and we're going to talk about them one by one. This is really helpful. Okay, words of affirmation. This one is kind of obvious, right? How can you give love to yourself with style? You can be nice to yourself. I try to convince people to do this all the time, and no matter how much I try, I feel like I am not getting through enough, because there's just, as I said in the beginning, like we could be so much kinder, so much warmer, and so much softer with ourselves. How many times do you compliment yourself? I think like at best for most of us, when we look in the mirror, we think like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Like, you know, like first we kind of like, and like trying to fix and like, oh, the flaws and oh no, like I look so weird today. Like, why is my ankle look so weird today? You know, and then it's like, okay, yeah, maybe like I look pretty good, you know? But being kind to ourselves, saying kind words to ourselves, and appreciating ourselves is a really important way to build love for ourselves, and it also expands our capacity to love other people, because just, you know, it literally trains kind of the ideas in your brain for how to be nice. So I think the one thing is that we kind of jump when thinking about like words of affirmation. This means like if I look in the mirror, I need to be like, wow, Rita, you're the hottest person that's ever lived. Your style is like a Vogue photo shoot and your body is a 10 out of 10. And that it doesn't need to be that way, right? You can obviously find your own authentic way to compliment yourself, because I especially think for women, and I talked about this before, I think, you know, the body norm is very strong, and the fact that style is a lot about the presentation of the body can make us feel like if we're going to compliment ourselves, it should be body related, right? Like, this outfit is really flattering. My legs look so long, you know, I look so tall, or I look so curvy, whatever. But, you know, it doesn't need to be that way. You can compliment yourself. You can use affirmative words in many different ways. You can say like, oh, I did a really good job putting this outfit together. I'm so glad that I bought this jacket. I did a really good job finding it, you know? Or like, oh, I'm really good at pairing together nice colors. Like, oh, I have a really good eye for detail. That's so cute that I put on these little earrings to match my jacket. Just, it is very cute. I'm a big fan of this jacket also. Or, you know, you can compliment your other skills, right? Like, oh, I'm so good at doing the eyeliner. So, and of course you can't compliment yourself on your body. I just feel like that's like a loaded area for people. So I just want to give you ideas about stuff you can compliment that's not that. And especially one thing we practice a lot in our LEAP class, and I also try to assign this as homework to a lot of my clients, is giving unqualified compliments. So a lot of times we're going to be like, oh, like this jacket is cute. If only I had a better shirt to wear underneath. And like, oh, if only it was a little bit more form-fitting. If only that was darker, right? We kind of don't want to be too nice to ourselves. So we kind of try to undercut the compliment. So I really want to invite you to just give yourself the compliment and move on, and not have to make it worse. Okay. Second, love language, acts of service. So that's defined as like doing nice things for other people, right? You love doing nice things for other people. So again, my question to you is like, if you want to use style as a way to build self-love, so if you want to show love to yourself, what are some acts of service that you could do for yourself? So a really obvious one that I think a lot of us know is that you could take time to just make sure your closet is functional, right? And this is so simple. It's like as simple as making sure that you do the laundry, right? A lot of times I know, especially if you have a family, it can be like tricky because you're like, oh, like, I got the kids and their clothes and it's like your clothes kind of come last and there's no time. And I feel you, like there is no time. I'm not trying to trivialize the problems, but something as simple as making sure that you actually do have your favorite outfit is clean and ready to wear. That is like an act of service you can do for yourself, right? That's something how you can put yourself first style-wise. Organizing anything can be really nice. Again, I think we often think like, if I'm gonna organize my closet, then I need to reorganize everything. I'm gonna hire a closet it's like, I'm gonna rebuild the closet. It's like so many things, but maybe it could just be so simple as like, oh, the one thing that bothers me every day is when I open my makeup, like everything falls out. Like, okay, I'm just gonna find a cup I can store my makeup in. So doing really small improvements to the way that we store our things or the area. Another act of service you can do for yourself style-wise, oh my God, I have so many ideas here. Another thing you can do is to just create a better dressing situation for yourself. So you could swap out maybe the light bulb in your closet for something that is like less harsh, it feels nicer. Or, if you don't own a mirror, you could get yourself a mirror, or you could get yourself a really cheap tripod so you can take outfit photos easier. You can get yourself nice hangers, right? So there's just a lot of like ways that you could set up and to be able to take photos or look at your outfits better. You can be cleaning things out. Another act of service is for sure tailoring, right? I'm sure so many of us have issues with like the pants are slightly too long. Like I always, like for me, like with pants, it's like impossible with the waist, right? It's always so big. And with some pants, I'm just like, oh, it's fine, I don't need it. But then every time I wear them, I'm like, this is so annoying. I should just get these tailored. And taking that time and saying, this is important enough to me that I'm going to go do it, that's like a great act of service. And yeah, just thinking basically about what can you do for yourself that can be helpful. Hi, Renata. Hi, Stacy. We're just talking about how to show love to yourself with style. And I'm just talking about how we can use this like love language idea to give us ideas on practical things we can do to love ourselves through style. And then the next thing is physical touch, right? And this one is so nice. I talk about this all the time, but I think that, we are just very aggressive with the body in terms of styling. It's not that focused on how it feels for us. It's focused a lot on flattering or like, if you're a person who has high sensory needs, maybe you're like, oh, it's impossible, I'll never find something. So you force yourself to wear these things that are unpleasant. And that's also fine. That's not the end of the world having like a pair of itchy pants and it's not the end of the world. But again, if you want to kind of build this self-love and show love to yourself and take care of yourself, then being more mindful about how do the clothes really sit on my body? How does it really feel for me? What is soothing? And especially thinking about what you spend a lot of your day in, right? So if you're sitting at a desk for much of the day and you have this very restrictive waistband, just not comfortable for the vast majority of people, right? So also for underwear, right? It's right on our body, or for bras, right? So what is like really supportive for your chest and that's comfortable. So it could be really nice to think about improving how you're touching yourself through style, how you're holding your body, how you're treating your body. And again, it's not about perfection, right? the goal isn't for you to suddenly tomorrow everything in your closet feels perfect on your skin and there's no compromising of any kind. It's like I said in the beginning, we're just looking for small improvements, and the act of taking those steps to improve is already the way we're showing love, right? It's you're telling yourself, like, how I feel matters, the sensations matter, and I have the right to have these clothes that feel really nice on me. And if you're a person who is like very attuned to your sensory needs, really wherever you are in like the style key or whatever, it's just really nice to think about how you can take care of that part of yourself, right? So I did this recently. I was thinking about one thing I really don't like about fall winter is I don't like just wearing pants all the time. I really like skirts. I just really like the freedom to move for my legs and breathe. So I was making some new skirt outfits for fall winter because I was like, I don't want to be without this sensation until May or June. Okay, Renata says it's a good step reminder to take one step at a time. Yeah, and it's like another to say on that, I think a lot of times we kind of use that as a reason why we don't deserve to do something nice, right? Oh, well, like, well, my apartment is ugly and my closet is ugly, so who cares about having like a nice hanger? Like, what difference does it make? But it's both. First of all, it does make a difference, and all the small things really add up, but it's also the action of caring for yourself, right? So you can't overhaul your complete wardrobe, but you can, like, oh my God, like, you will get the socks this year that make your feet really nice, the breathable socks that feel great. That's really nice. Okay, so it's physical touch, and then we're going to talk about quality time. And quality time, I guess, like, is a bit like related to like acts of service, but I think there's a few things that I think are go under quality time and how you can use that with style. So first of all, getting dressed in the morning, right? For some people, I know that you love in the morning to take the time to get dressed. You want to kind of use that as like your warm-up way of attuning to the day. Maybe you want to try out this makeup look. Maybe you want to try putting things on and off. And, again, as with everything, you don't have time for that every morning, right? Some morning, maybe you have a meeting, somebody needs something from you, you're just like in a rush, okay. But if you're a person who likes to take that time, then it's like, how can we make that time? Because that's not gonna arise. I mean, I can tell you that if you're a person who feels like mornings are kind of a rush, nobody's ever going to be like, oh, here's 20 minutes for you to play with your clothes every morning. It's just not going to happen unless you stand up for yourself and you say, I value this and I need that and I benefit a lot from it. And when you do that, suddenly it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I could have like 10 minutes. And again, 10 minutes maybe isn't what you want. Maybe you need 30 minutes, but better than zero, right? And that's what we're trying to do, is better than zero. And what I want to say about that, like in terms of the taking time to get ready, right? That goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning, how for some people, if clothes are really unimportant to them and they really haven't understood or connected with the power that style can have, they can feel like, oh, maybe it's like your partner or whatever. And they're just like, oh, why do you need this time to get ready? Like, hurry up. Like, oh, do you really need to do this? Because, to them, they're just totally uninterested and they don't really get it. And that's the part where you show the self-love by saying, like, this isn't just about me wasting time. This is time that is really important to me. So I am receiving a lot from this time. For people who like to take time to dress up in the morning, usually that is because for you, that helps you kind of attune yourself to the day. And when you take that time, that's when you're like more ready to meet the day, and you really are like that more engaged, more relaxed, whatever, happier, more confident version of you. So that time, I mean, it really is like an investment in the day, So I think you don't need to justify yourself to the people around you, but it's good to justify yourself to yourself, because if you find yourself never giving yourself that time, you're like, oh, I need to sleep in, like, oh, I don't have time. Make the time. And then, so that's quality time for getting ready. But of course, there's other things. Like for me, I really like to get my nails done. Have to get it done like every 3 3 to 4 weeks. And it's always like, I don't know, it's just, it takes an hour and I have to go somewhere and I have to come back. And somehow it always just feels like such a hassle. I don't know. And I don't like it. I don't like sitting there, even though, because my favorite nail artist, she quit or she moved. So I'm trying to find a new nail person who I like working with. And I just don't like it. But it's also like, I know that having my nails done just makes me really, really, really happy. Like, it's a huge benefit for me. So I make that time in the calendar, even if it feels like, oh, I could be doing something like better and more important with the time. And same for shopping, right? So I know a lot of people feel like, I want to change my style, Rita. I want to do this instead of doing that. But I don't know, like, where to shop, and I don't know how to find things. Well, guess what? Like, I don't want to be rude, but like, you're not going to accidentally find like a really cool brand. It's just, I mean, maybe if you get a really good ad, but most of the time, if you want to find new places to shop, you want to change your look, yeah, you have to look for new brands. You have to go to a different store. You have to spend time Googling online. Maybe you buy something and you realize you don't like that brand. You have to return it. All of that is time. And again, if it's important to you, then you make the time. And that's the love. And thinking, again, like what we talked about, how it's not some tangible idea, but like, oh, you have to dress up because you're this Barbie with expectations. But it's rather, if you know that having the right outfits is going to be meaningful to you, going to help you be confident, going to help you feel good about yourself or whatever it is, then yeah, then that's a really good use of your time, and not to underplay it. Okay, what's next? I don't remember the love languages. Oh yeah, gifting to yourself, right? Gifts. Well, I feel like that's obvious. It's like you can buy yourself nice things. But I think this is, if anything, right, that's a bit the one where we kind of encouraged by global capitalism to focus on, right? If you like fashion, you should buy yourself things. And I mean, I like buying myself things. I really, really like buying myself stuff. That's just, I really like having, it's not about the new things. I just really like playing with myself, I like exploring things. I like trying new brands. So I'm just not a person who can truly in integrity tell you about shopping less. I mean, I think, I feel like I shop an okay amount, but I'm definitely not a minimalist there. But I still want to say that I do think sometimes we just feel like, okay, I don't have time. I don't have the ability to be for myself. I can't say nice things to me. I can't do this active service. It's like all I can do is buy, buy, buy. And so I just want to encourage you to think about, okay, maybe you can look into the other options as well. But here, like, of course, for some people, it's a totally different story. For some people, it's like they really want a thing, they know it would make them happy, but it's like, oh, do I deserve it? And there's this like worry, and it's just like, even when it's not expensive, you could be like, oh, but the money could be better used for X, Y, and Z, when realistically, if a jacket costs like $100 and you feel like, oh my God, that's so expensive, but that's something you would spend on like 2 lunches out with your partner or something, like 1.5 lunches realistically nowadays. It's like, I mean, yeah, that's, maybe you deserve the nice thing. So again, I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm just saying, think about it. Okay. So that's the love languages. I'm going to show them all again. Words of affirmation, service, touch, time, and treating yourself. What do you guys think? I would love to hear a bit about if you have any favorite, or if you like using any of these, or just, yeah, like any thoughts you have in general. I feel like for me, struggle with the time one, or like kind of time/service. But that's what I really like to do, right? As I said, I like to take the time to take pictures of all my outfits. I like to make sure, like, I don't actually have that many outfits in my repeat, so I really like to make sure my favorite stuff is like clean. I want to get things tailored. I want to get my nails done. I want to like take the time to wash my hair instead of just putting it in the bun. Those are the things I feel like really feel like love to me. And also the time for me right now, lately, it's been about finding unique pieces. So this is like a brand I found recently. I really like it. I want my style to be really, really special. I mean, I've been working with style for a long time. My style is really good, so I want it to be like amazing. And so a big thing for me has been like, okay, taking the time to really discover some brands I maybe didn't know about. And, you know, like not necessarily I'm like buying stuff from every brand, but just like kind of giving myself a chance. And for me, that also relates a bit to treating yourself, where it's like, I think like, oh, but what if I take a risk on this brand and then I don't like the stuff? Or, you know, and just all of these like reasons and excuses. And then I just think like, I don't know, just noise in the head, you know? So that is something that works. But I'm very good with words of affirmation. Obviously, you know, I'm a wordy person, as you know. I just love to talk. So I'm good. I'm like, oh, it's and then my sneaky way of using words of affirmation is not only do I compliment myself, but I like show my outfits to Mirage, or I show my outfits to Nikki, or I show outfits like friends. And I'm like, look at this outfit. I like it so much. So it's kind of like shared affirmation that I really like. So that's something I rely on as well. Renata says I need them all, and nobody else says what they want. So I feel like everybody's just overflowing with all of the different love opportunities, and I think that's really nice. Okay, and so last segment on today, I wanted to give you like a useful perspective on what it really means to use style for self-love. And this is like a bit of a different thing, because now I know I was talking a lot about the love languages and how to do it. But I also think like I was thinking a lot in preparing for this stream. I was thinking, you know, what does it really mean to like love yourself? Again, to me, it sounds a little bit nebulous, like vague, like it could just mean anything. So, okay, here's what I came up with. This is my useful perspective. Number one, I feel like yourself contains like many different sides and many different qualities, right? Number two, love helps you connect with that self and to build it up. So what you want to do is kind of discover, what do you want to love? And then you want to find a way to strengthen that thing through style. And then you want to actually follow through. So that's my Rita's theory on how to use style for love. I mean, is it me if there's not like a multi-step checklist, you know? Okay. So the first thing is what I said is like, I feel like, you know, yourself, that's like so many different things. And it's like, yes, loving yourself, it helps you with that. So I think it's really important to discover like, what is it that you want to love about yourself? So rather than setting this really big goal and like, I want to love myself more, you know, I think for a lot of us, it's easier to think about like, okay, well, what about myself do I love? For example, for me, okay, I'll say this. What are some things I love? I feel like I have a very positive presence. I just generally, I'm like a cheerful person by nature, but not only am I cheerful, but I feel like I bring a lot of cheer and like sparkle energy. That's just a natural thing for me, and that's something like I know is really nice for the people in my life, because I feel like I share a lot of energy with my situations. And so for me, that's something I really love about myself, because it's like I don't have, you know, it's like that's just naturally me, but it's really cool and I really, really like it. And so if I was to think about, okay, how am I going to strengthen that through style? What the heck does that mean? Well, okay, I think like for me, style, I guess like literally style that's cheerful. That is a lot of what my style is. I would say my style is like, you know, as you guys know, like I like things that are very cute. I'm really into like all this like girly stuff lately, but just in general, like I like things that are sweet. I like literal light colors. You know, I'm literally wearing like little heart earrings. I'm wearing a little like this necklace. The things are hearts, you know, and I have rhinestones on my jacket and I have these sparkle nails. So I like to kind of glitter and shimmer. And in my style system, the style key, I map that onto the keywords on like radiant and dreamy, where it's like a sparkle princess, I guess, ultimately. So for me, wearing all of this sparkly, shiny light days, it helps me kind of be that person. And I'm like, yeah, this is just my gift to the world. I'm just like cute. I'm full of positive like motivation, inspiration, and like optimistic energy, not, you know, 24/7, but overall. And I followed through on that, right? I wear these things that really help me be the sparkle princess I want to be. Or like another thing I love about myself. Sorry, I hope this is like okay, so I hope this doesn't sound like, I don't know. I don't like to talk about myself that much actually, but I recently realized that it's really helpful. So that's why I'm trying it more, because I realized it's just really, really helpful to do that. So I just give you like another example. I think what I like about myself, and that's the other part of the style system, right? Is I really like how over the top and extra I am about everything. It's just, I am like, I don't know if I'm loud, like in my voice, but I'm very loud in my body language. I take up a lot of space, and I'm very like, I don't know, like I like making a big deal out of things, like in a good way, not in a bad way. Like I'm not that big for like the conflict drama, but I like to just like things are like over the top. You know, if somebody's excited about something, I'm like, yeah. So I like to be over the top. And I like that about myself. So it's like, how can I strengthen that through style? I mean, that's the other thing. And I talk about this a lot, which is that I like to be really extra in my style. And the reason I do that, the reason I will like show up to like a seminar where I'm presenting in like an all white outfit with like a giant bow, is because I just think it's like fun to bring that level of extra to the everyday and just break through that kind of like mundane vibe of like, oh, okay, here we go, another Monday. So for me, like taking in the time to find these like really extra things and putting them on and kind of wearing them with confidence is a way for me to like follow through on loving that part of myself, right? And that's something I really struggled with in my big like style crisis. I don't know what years I was in my style crisis, but it was like when I started the YouTube channel, and maybe this crisis started like 2 or 3 years before that. I was just really I was like in a rut and kind of a sad place in life, and just everything was a bit difficult. And that time I was really fighting against the extraness, you know, and I was wearing very minimalistic and really dark clothes and just trying to kind of like blend in, because I didn't want to be like taking up too much space or whatever. And so it had like the opposite effect. It was like, it was not strengthening that part. It was not loving, you know? And okay, so I hope this makes sense. So I want you to, again, just to summarize, the point is self-love can be like really vague, because we're like, okay, but what is myself? I have so many things, right? And there's so many things that you can connect with and build up with. So I just want you to think about like, well, what's lovable about me? And it's also like, I think like more palatable, right? Instead of thinking like, I'm the super person who's super lovable and like blah, blah, blah. You can think like, okay, well, everybody has like a few good traits, you know? And I think personally, I think most people have very many really good traits, but I think if you're like in a less just positive mood, you can still accept that like you have something that is positive about you. And so I like this framework because it gives you like, okay, I don't need to like love myself with my entire body and my entirety, but you're like, focus the thing. And then it gives you also like, you know, you're like, okay, but how can I possibly do that, right? So what am I thinking about? I'm thinking examples how we can link this back, because, you know, I don't know, you guys, I can't talk about anything unless it's like there's a model involved. That's just my education. So if we link our model on how to love ourselves back to this thing, these are kind of like the mechanisms you can use for how to follow through on that final process, right? So let's say that what you love about yourself is how comfortable you are just being you, right? So one thing is you could give yourself a word of affirmation. If you're wearing an outfit that you really like and other people might not like it, or they might not wear it, you can be like, I'm so proud of myself for dressing like authentically to who I am. Or even just be like, oh, hey, this outfit is really authentic to me. That's really nice, right? Or the acts of service. Again, you could like, maybe you could you could do something for yourself that is like really makes you feel good about your style. Like maybe take some really nice pictures of your outfits where your outfits look cool. So when you're feeling like self-conscious about your outfits, you can look at these photos and be like, oh, like I do look really cool. Right? Physical touch. If you're like, oh, I'm really comfortable being me, that means I'm not gonna like force my body into clothes that are uncomfortable. Or it means like, yeah, what I love, like really showing my body and really like feeling like so I'm gonna wear like these tight clothes that really like highlight that feeling and help me like land in who I am. Even if some people might think that's like showing off, like that's me, right? So I hope you understand like the point, just how we can think about applying all of those different approaches into like this general process of finding a way and really following through on that. That's it. That's my teachings on self-love. And I mean, I think the style key for sure is a system that is really based on the idea of self-love in mind, right? Because we have these archetypes, for example, which are really formulated around the specific gifts that different people have and really using style to move forward towards those gifts, right? So if you're a person, I had a client that is like the illuminatrix, right? And it's a person who really just naturally is able to, I don't know, bring a lot of like sparkle to life, like a lot of their personal kind of light energy just by being themselves when they just let that happen, you know? I think it's very loving to then think about, okay, how can I pick clothes that I love that make me happy rather than trying to pick out clothes somebody else would like and that look the best and it's the best outfit, because your goal really is just to feel happy so you can kind of shine your beautiful illuminatrix light. Okay, people like it. They like me talking about myself. Granola mommy is also over the top. I love being over the top. It's just me. Yeah, Granola says, I find that when I minimize my large personality, I seem more awkward and there's something off about it. Exactly. It's like you just can't, it's like if you're just this person who's very intensive, you just can't not be intensive, I guess. It's just difficult. Okay. Oh, you guys, thank you. Thank you for being here. I felt like this was a very, this was really nice. Just really, really nice because as I said in the very beginning, I just think it is so important. Yeah, like the worse the world is really, I think the more important it is to be like, okay, but how can we bring some love into it? And in some ways it's easier to love other people, you know, for many reasons. But in other ways, it is easy to love ourselves because like you know yourself so well. So it's like you know exactly what is that one thing that's gonna make you happy. So, and you know, you're spending a lot of time with yourself. So there's a lot of opportunities. And just mostly, just to say, like, I know I said it 100 times, but I really want to stress that like people who don't understand style do not understand how important style can be for self-love. And I think a lot of people who are like into style don't really understand style. And I know that sounds harsh, but whatever. Because yeah, style is not just about like taking a cute picture. Style is about how you move in the world and how you see yourself and who you are and how you're relating to like your identity, and it's your creative expression and it's your body and it's so many of these like super deep things. So of course it's connected with like really big themes and emotions and feelings. And yeah, just the fact that a lot of people don't get that doesn't make that not true. Okay, so if you're feeling like the influences you have in your life make you feel like, oh, I should, just you have to learn to shut it out because you are on the right side of the issue. And you know, for some people style just is never going to matter, and that's okay too. It's not like they're wrong and they need to like wake up sheeple. But I think a lot of people kind of in between where they really could use style a lot, but they just don't know about that. And then there's some people who are like, oh, it's never going to be a thing for them and they shouldn't worry about it, you know? And then there's us who are kind of trying in this very imperfect human way to get what we can using style as a tool. And that's really nice. And it's nice that we have this community to support each other. Oh, thank you, Granola Mommy. I like that you like the look. It was like on theme. Plus also this jacket is new and I really like it. I wanted a jacket for winter that was like, you know, radiant, dreamy, and extra, which I feel like obviously is. but it wasn't like formal because as you guys know, I have really nice blazers. I have a collection of several blazers I really love, but I wanted something that's more casual, and this is denim. So I feel like it looks relaxed. I guess relaxed as a pink rhinestone jacket can look, I guess. But I also like the rhinestones. I feel like it doesn't look so disco, you know, because they're kind of spaced out and a little bit subtle. The style key is the best community, yeah, for sure. I was talking to the Reddit moderators, it's like telling them that they're beautiful angels in the world because like where else can you find such a nice place online? So, and I guess everybody that's in it are just amazing angels. Okay, my friends. Oh, it's 1 hour. We did perfect. So I'm gonna get flowing. And if you are watching here all the way to the end, I'm gonna invite you to check out the stream Sunday. I'm gonna just show you all of my outfits since I have pictures of them. I'm gonna show all of my outfits for autumn, and I'm gonna talk about how I use my style logic and my essence and my archetype and just, I don't know, all the thoughts and feelings I have about my style. So I think that would be really fun because yeah, I'm not that good at talking about myself.